Hello and welcome to a video about structures and bonding, and in particular we're looking at metallic bonding today. We've already looked at covalent and ionic in previous videos, and you can find those videos at the website www.my-gcsescience.com. But for now we're going to look at metallic bonding, and this is aimed at the higher tier. So to start us off with, let's have a look at this what's supposed to be a metal rod. So this is just a piece of metal, and we're going to look at how the atoms in this piece of metal are bonded together to make it into the structure that it is. Now it's probably worth looking at how the atoms are arranged. They are in a regular pattern in rows, and nice and neat, quite close together, as they often are in solids, but certainly in metals. But to understand how the metallic bond works, we need to look a little bit closer at some of these atoms. So if we just focus in on that area there and enlarge it a little further, you'll see something that perhaps looks like this. Now I haven't drawn the exact detail of every single atom with all the electrons and so on, but we do need to understand about how the electrons behave. So what we have here is a close-up of the atoms in a particular metal, and what you have to remember is that the electrons in the highest energy level, or in the outer shell, are what we call delocalized, and that just means they are free to move around. Okay, so the electrons, say if we take this atom here, the electrons in the outer shell of this atom is free to move around. So it doesn't just hang around there, it can move around in between the structure or the arrangement of the atoms. That means that if that electron can move away from the atom, that leaves the atom with a positive charge. Now that actually, let's tidy that up a bit, leaves the atom with a positive charge, and that actually happens to all the atoms. So what we have is the atoms which are as positive ions because they have lost an electron, and we have all these electrons that are zipping around in between the atoms. So we've got quite a few of those zipping around. Okay, so how does that actually then help the atoms to bond together? Well, if we look at this in a slightly different way, we've got the atoms here all with their positive ions, and here we have, in the blue region, we have many electrons moving around and creating what some people say is a cloud or a sea of electrons, sometimes referred to as a sea of electrons. And so that is like a big area of negative surrounding these positive ions. So what we have is the positive ions interacting with the delocalized electrons, and we have therefore a strong electrostatic attraction. So we have negative in the blue area here and positive, and so there is attraction between the blue area and the positive ions. So this is how the atoms are held together by these strong electrostatic attraction forces. Okay, so that's how the metallic bond works. Remember, this is negative, or you could label it as delocalized electrons, and the positive metal ions, they attract to this negative area, holding the whole thing together. So this is one way you should be able to recognize the metallic bond, and there's one other way which is mentioned in the specification. The diagram could be drawn like this. Oops, didn't group it. Could be drawn like this, and this is actually the same as this, but slightly drawn slightly differently. We have the positive metal ion here, we have this, what we call this delocalized electron here, which I've done in blue, and you can see that they're able to move around and create that negative charge around the atoms, which holds them together. Okay, so two ways to look at the metallic bond, and you should be able to explain how this works. Thank you for watching, and remember, there's a list of all the videos that are available at my-gcsescience.com.